Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool tool that connects our modern worlds with the ancient art of the coat of arms. It's called Heraldry Studio, and it claims it can help you make some seriously authentic historical symbols with just a few clicks. So let's see what it's all about. All right, before we even touch the software, we've got to go back in time, way back. Picture the absolute chaos of the Crusades. You've got the sea of knights in almost identical armor. I mean, how do you tell who's on your side? It was a huge problem. So knights started painting these simple, really bold designs on their shields. And this wasn't about looking cool, it was about survival. And this idea, well, it just exploded. It wasn't just art, it was a powerful system for telling people who you were. These symbols spread from the battlefield to flags to family seals, really all across medieval life. This was the birth of heraldry, a visual language that could shout your identity from a football field away. Okay, so you can probably guess what happened next, right? As these symbols got more and more popular, you started running into problems. Imagine two knights showing up to a tournament with the exact same roaring lion on their shield. Awkward. To keep things in order, the whole system had to get way more organized. A complex and super strict set of rules was born to control who could use what symbol. And this is the part you really have to get. Heraldry isn't just about drawing pretty pictures. It's a science. It has its own vocabulary, its own grammar, strict rules about what colors can touch each other, what certain animals mean, how you can even divide the shield. You couldn't just wing it. Your design had to follow the system, or it just wasn't legit. So that brings us to today. This creates a big challenge for us modern creative types. Let's say you're a fantasy author, or maybe you're a dungeon master for your friends. You want that authentic, historical vibe for your world. But let's be real. Who has the time to basically get a history degree just to design a banner for some fictional knight? And that is exactly where Heraldry Studio steps in. Now, we need to be super clear about this. This is not a graphics program like Photoshop. You don't just get a blank page to draw whatever you feel like. Think of it more like a rule-based generator. It's a tool that already knows all those ancient laws of heraldry, and it makes sure you follow them. So how does it actually work? Well, it breaks the whole process down into simple building blocks. You start with the background of the shield, that's called the field, and you pick how you want to divide it up. Then you add the ordinaries, which are those big, simple geometric shapes like stripes or crosses. You can fill areas with repeating patterns too. The whole time, the software is keeping track of your choices, making sure the final design is legit. So basically, this tool acts as your own personal heraldry expert. It takes care of all the complicated rules behind the scenes so you can be confident that what you're making is authentic. And that lets you focus on the most important part, right? The story you want to tell with your design. So, who's actually using a tool like this? Well, the list is pretty broad, actually. You've got people designing crests for their family, all the way to dungeon masters creating symbols for an entire army in a Dungeons & Dragons game. It's a fantastic tool for any kind of world building, or honestly, just for anyone who wants to learn the rules of heraldry in a fun, hands-on way. Of course, it's not perfect. Nothing ever is. When you start digging into what users are saying, one point comes up a lot. People find it simple and useful, for sure, but some feel it's a little light on features for what it costs. The general vibe seems to be that it's got a ton of potential, but maybe it's not quite the finished article just yet. But on the flip side, when you look at its target audience, the role players and the world builders, the feedback is just glowing. This user totally nails it, calling it an enormous help for quickly making coats of arms for their D&D campaign. For that specific job, adding quick, authentic flavor to your own creative world, it seems to be a real game changer. So let's just boil this all down. Is this tool for you? Well, if you're a tabletop gamer or a world builder and you really care about historical accuracy and getting quick results, you'll probably love this thing. But if you're looking for a full-on graphics editor with total creative freedom to break all the rules, this is definitely not it. And what about that price some people mentioned? Well, here's a little pro tip for you. The software goes on sale pretty regularly, often for 25% off. So if the cost is the main thing holding you back, your best bet is to just add it to your wish list on Steam and wait for a sale to pop up. And honestly, this might be the best part. You can try it out completely risk-free. Steam has this awesome policy where you can get a full refund on pretty much anything if you've played it for less than 2 hours. So you can buy it, try out all the features, make a few designs, and if you decide it's not for you, you get your money back. No questions asked. It's a total win-win. Which brings us full circle. Back in medieval times, a knight's shield was so much more than just a piece of metal. It was their personal brand, it was their story, told in a language of symbols that everyone understood. It said who you were and what you stood for. So with a tool like this, the only question left is, what story will you tell?